Hey, everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Well, welcome to another Friday night bee chat, and happy Father's Day to everybody. So, let's see if we can get things rolling here. Let's see. Uh, all right, the steak and eggs. All right, Todd. Hey, Dinah. Hey, Russell. We got Mike, and we got Brian. All right. So, anyway, here comes Mr. Bill. There he is. Uh, hey, Clay. Hey, Dennis. We got hmm, happening, Bill.
How's it going?
All right, I got to change my volume settings there.
It always helps.
Hey, Rick, out there in Block Farm. Hey, Jeremy. So, anything exciting down your way?
Oh, bees are doing good. They're going to get split this weekend. And
Yep. I got all my queens installed, 26 queens. Um, let's see, I normally run, I got spots for 26 highs, and I got an extra queen there that looks really nice looking queen. So I made another nuke up with that and just put them in between a couple of the 10 framers
yeah,
and that kind of stuff. And hey, Papa G's Bees. And good to see you. So, um, anyway, I got all that and all that kind of stuff. So I got that done. And what else? Put a lot of my two frame mating box equipment away and cleaned it, put it away. And he kind of did that kind of stuff, a little bit of that kind of stuff every day this week in the evenings. So it's not so much overwhelming. I feel like I'm kind of caught up as far as getting everything done. Next thing is setting the honey house up in the back porch and getting ready to extract
yep.
and that kind of stuff. Get that done. Got set up with the apiarist about uh, doing um, participating in the National Honeybee Survey this year. She wanted to come in like next week. And I'm like, no. I said, I haven't got the honey supers off. I just put queens in. I said, we need to, come in around late August. So that's what she's going to do and all that. So, hey,
Well,
Eric.
that'll give her an idea of what's going on. You know?
Mhm. The Dinah says last check showed lots of nectar coming in, so added more supers. So are you in Baltimore City, Dinah, now, or on the outskirts of it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Around here, I think honey supers are pretty much done for me. I'm sure that's pretty much depending where you're located at. I know if you're around streams or rivers or something like that, you might have privet, stuff that's growing around where there's plenty of water and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Keith, Kevin. Well, not,
Have you had any rain?
it showered here yesterday, maybe. And I'm talking 15 minutes or so. Not enough to even sort of wet the ground.
We had a shower this morning.
And that was it. And now they're calling for nothing until Monday.
We had a shower this morning, and it it didn't last very long, but we did have a shower.
Well, that's kind of what I didn't even look at the rain gauge. If we got a quarter of an inch, I think we got a lot. But water's water, so I'll take any bit I can get.
Yeah. I'll take all of it I can get too.
So did they get up the hay that they cut down here the last couple of days?
Well, yeah, we got that. We got all that. We got 87 round bales. They're all sold. We cut another section today. That's on the ground. We'll be baling that tomorrow. That's probably another 30 bales.
Clay says his ring gauge has spider webs in
Huh?
it. Hey, Mark. Yeah, hey, Odell.
So they're calling for rain here Monday.
That's what they're saying here too. We'll see.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, we got all the first cutting in. My son's out in Texas this weekend at the cattle show,
Yeah.
cattle convention, I guess you'd call it.
Down in Louisville.
No, Texas. I don't know whether it's Houston or what.
Got to be careful what you buy out of that section of country now because of screwworm.
Well, I don't think they're out there because of the Wagyu. It's that their breed that they're messing with.
Yep.
It's him and his wife are going out there. I think it's
That's a good little vacation.
a little 3 or 4 day vacation. Come
Yeah.
flying back, coming home on Sunday night. So they had a chance. It's like he was saying to her, it's the first time we got all the hay done by the 1st of June, you might say. And it's a chance to be able to go to that. Next year, you might not be able to go. So that's something that they kind of are looking at that and all that stuff.
Phil's on the road again.
What's that?
Phil is on the road again. He's
is
driving and listening.
Okay. The traveling beekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had a couple different people wanting queens. I got one guy, he's right up the road from me, wants a queen. I said, yeah, I got a 2025 queen overwintered. I'll take it. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, I'll come up with 2 frames with her eggs and everything. And I said, she's got deeps. He said, I said, let's put up my 2 frames in there and with your deeps, let her get acclimated in a week or so, and then I'll come and get my frames.
There you go.
I said, that's the most easiest introduction there is to me. Their most highest acceptance rate. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, Phil was on the Thursday night late night show.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know. I was tired. My brother, he took off the rest of this week, so I had to get up. So I went to bed early. Oh, that took a delivery down here to some guy this morning, and we had a fair amount of customers coming in. Had some honey buyers. Sold 6, 7, 8. I sold 8 pounds of honey I did today, I think it was. So, it's a decent day. I got my car. That was another thing I wanted to get done. Car was due for a whole change, so I had all that stuff ready to go, and so I had time enough to put it up on the rack and change the oil on the car. So that was nice. And I was like right on the money when it come to the mileage. I might have been 15 miles over.
Really?
Yeah, right at 5,000 miles.
Wow.
So that was good to get all that done.
Yep.
So, and today's weather has been really nice. It was like 75, maybe 80 degrees with a breeze.
Yep.
It felt like yesterday was kind of like that in the evening. It felt like Miami Beach in January.
Yeah, it's a little breezy here right now, and 76 degrees. It's nice outside. It's been nice all day.
Yeah. So, Philip, what's a honey daddy? Your honorary honey daddy. Yeah, Norm, I like 76. Clay, you haven't had poplar in the last 2 years? I guess you got what, basswood is it down there, or sourwood? Where Clay's at?
Yeah, sourwood and basswood ought to be out about now.
There he is.
There he is, a traveling beekeeper.
How you guys doing?
All right.
Doing good. How about you?
Good. I'm going to answer Charlie's question. It was all I could do to type in that other comment. I'm going to end up wrecking if I keep trying to type with my fingers on the phone. Yeah, a honey daddy, Charlie, is when they started that show, they were trying to come up with a name, and I kept pushing them to make it called West Coast Honey Daddies. Thought that was that should be their name, so I was always rattling about that. And then what was really funny, I'm sure everybody was asleep at the end of that, but because I usually am. But early on, I had given them a name, and I'd forgotten I gave it to him, but Todd wrote it down. And at the end of the show, he read it. And my suggested name to him was Talking Bee Love with the West Coast Honey Daddies.
God.
Talking Bee Love with the West Coast Honey Daddies. I still think that's a better name. That's a better name than Westford Bees, I think. Yeah, it was fun going on with those guys. Good time.
Dennis has got 6 inches of rain. Where are you at, Dennis? Down there in Mississippi? I haven't seen what's his name? I was thinking about Joey and also Eddie down there. All that rain and flooding I seen on the television. And Dennis is down in Alabama. I know, was it Mississippi, Louisiana? They had.
How did you fare with that storm there, Philip?
You know, it rained this morning, like right at daylight. It was, I don't know, it had to have rained at least 6 inches. There were flash flood warnings going off, and when I drove into my office at like 10 or 10:30, there was water standing out in all the fields. It was crazy, but it really was just a lot of rain. Heck of a lot of rain. And I don't think it had anything to do with that tropical depression, but I really wasn't paying. It caught me off guard. I had no idea. When I woke up and saw all that rain, I was like, whoa. And plus, I slept a little late because trying to stay up with Brian and Todd. That's way past my bedtime.
Or are you in the same time zone as they are?
No, I'm central.
You are, Texas is central?
Yeah, most of it. I don't know. Maybe some of it's mountain, but I'm for sure central. I'm not sure where the line is. It cut through that. I don't know what you call that little piece of Texas that extends way out into New Mexico.
Right.
New Mexico.
Well, I think talking about water standing in the fields, I think your ground gets baked so much that it doesn't have any way of absorbing anything, does it?
Yeah, when it comes down really fast, it doesn't really matter that the ground's dry or not. It's just going to run across the top of it.
Yeah.
But if it comes down nice and slow, there's not going to be any problem.
Right.
That's another reason. When we get into a drought situation, we might get a 4-inch rain and the ponds, which we call tanks, don't ever fill up because if it didn't come down fast enough to run across the ground, it doesn't affect the level of the pond. It comes down slow, which that's a better rain to have for bees. But if you're trying to raise cattle on a property and you need water in your ponds for the cows to drink, you want those hard and fast rains.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What little rain we have gotten here, it's green. It made the grass and everything green. Of course, my son did put some fertilizer and stuff down to make it grow.
Our dryness and drought we had early spring is completely over, at least in the northern part of it. It's still, I think, I hadn't checked with my neighbor down at the farm, but I think we're still way under down there. But
yeah.
It's too late though.
So you're gonna go see your mother en route?
Yeah, I'm on my way to see her. I'm on my bi-weekly trip. Or is that bi-monthly? I don't know what.
Are you doing your farmers market still this year?
Well, I'm on the schedule to start on the 11th of July, but to be honest with you, I don't have hardly anything to sell. I have a little bit left over from last year. I literally would, if something doesn't change pretty quick, I might do 1 or 2 markets and it's over with. So let's see how it goes. I feel like if I call them and just cancel everything, then maybe the honey will come in. That'll be just what I need to. And then I call and beg my way back in. our farmers market that I go to, they're a little bit snooty. They want you to tell them exactly when you're going to be there, and they punish you if you don't show up or you need to cancel. So I need to be serious if I'm not going to make it. They may not let me back in if I back out.
Yeah, now Russell was saying down in your area that you can't dig basements down there in Dallas. The clay expands or something. Or I thought they used to. I heard that when that kid fell in that one of them wells out there, I don't know, 25 years ago. They talked about the Texas cement where it was prehistoric, some kind of dirt down in there that was real hard and stuff.
I don't know about that. I mean, we have veins of that Austin chalk, limestone type stuff.
I think that's what it is. That chalk.
Yeah, and that stuff's it's not really great for a foundation. It's not like bedrock, like you have granite, like you have in New York, those things. But and we also have lots of clays. This area I'm driving through, though, has a lot of red dirt in East Texas. Texas is like 4 or 5 different states in one, depending on which part you go to. But the area around where I live, especially south of me in Irving, is really bad clays. And at one point, back in the 80s, they claimed you couldn't build on it. But they went ahead and built on it anyway. They have a lot of trouble with foundations. Roads are just feel like you're just bouncing going down the roads because it moves so much. I think it's the second worst clay formation in the country, second to the Yazoo clays that are over in central Mississippi. Has more vertical movement than any other area. But
yeah,
the main reason the South doesn't have basements is an economic reason. In the North, you already have to dig down 6-7 feet for getting past the freeze line.
Yeah.
So at that point, why not go ahead and dig a little further and make a level to your house, because you're already spending the money on putting your foundation that low. And that's the reason for it. To make matters a little more complicated in lots of areas in the South, though, especially in places like Florida and South Louisiana, the water table is so high. Once you build a basement, you've got an underground swimming pool.
Yeah.
That's because they're down the swamps.
Yeah.
What I never could understand is all them states out there that have all these consistently every year tornadoes, and
Oklahoma, Kansas, all through there. Yeah,
I would think everybody would have a storm shack, a semi half buried thing in the backyard or whatever. And half of them, I'll say that 90% from what I can see on the news don't.
I think I would spring for that if I could afford it in that area for sure.
Well, I mean, they showed years ago this guy had invented this thing. I think it was made out of fiberglass. It was in 2 pieces. It was kind of like a round bubble that had a seat in a semicircle with an air vent shaft and like a hatch in a ship. And you buried it 3/4 of it underneath the ground. It had an angle hatch sticking up out of the ground. You open it up, you went down like 3 steps or 4 steps, and you were down in there, and you had a little cubby hole in the back corner there where you could put some canned goods that all you had to do was pop the top and eat. And it's like, to me, that's an absolute must in my case, what I think it is. But I guess I know one boy that used to go out there and he was combining wheat, and there would be a tornado off in the distance, and he's radioing the other guys that are used to being out there. And he said, what do we do? What do we do? And he said, nothing, just keep on cutting. And, not worry about it. Just keep on going. You know, it's like, it's a storm over there. It won't come here. Hopefully.
Yeah. And
Hopefully.
most of the places like down here where they don't have basements, they'll do like a safer room type thing. It might be a 1/4-inch steel lining,
Yeah.
with a 1/4-inch steel lining or something like that. I'll tell you what though, that whole tornado alley or whatever they call it that went through, through Oklahoma and Kansas through there, a lot of that shifted east. I don't know. Remember just not too long ago, Nathan, Duck River Honey, they had those tornadoes cut through there. That whole area has been getting hit with tornadoes for the last about 15, 20 years, way over what they ever did historically. I have a cousin. I have a second cousin. Her and her family was building a house, and they're real close to where Nathan is. They know about his company and stuff. And they had the house fully framed up, and a tornado came and wiped the whole thing out. They weren't living in it, thank goodness. And when they went to frame it back, my cousin told her husband, she said, if you don't build a concrete, shelter in that thing, I'm not ever moving in. Because she saw what it had done to that framed house. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something else. I don't see how people can, like farms out there where they tear up their granaries and whatever. It's like, how do you recover from something like that?
Yeah.
It's called good insurance.
Well, even with insurance never pays 100%. And if you can't afford most times 100%.
I don't know. Aren't most of those things co-ops? Spread it out a little bit.
What's that, Phil?
I said, aren't most of those grain elevators, aren't most of those like co-ops? All the farmers in the area?
No, I mean, there's a lot of them that have their own. No, So, anyway.
Well, I don't know. Have you heard about the all through like Iowa and that area where all the cornfields are? They have those. What do they call them? Those ethanol plants popped up everywhere for years. And I have a brother-in-law that worked for an engineering company that designed those things, and they knew when they were building them that those things would never pay for themselves, but the government was paying them to build them.
Yeah.
They were going to lose money for the full life of them, but the government was paying them to build them, so it was free money.
Well, the thing of it is the best thing to get rid of ethanol out of our gasoline. Actually, our fuel mileage would go up, and we would actually burn less gasoline.
It's the same with windmills. Those would never would have happened without government help.
I asked the guy that installed these solar panels, and I said, "Oh, you got one?" He said, "I installed them." I said, "Well, why don't you have all this stuff?" And he said, "Well, the first day, the best day is the first day you install them." And he says, from that point on, they degrade in efficiency over. And he says, by the time they pay for themselves, it's time to throw them away and get something new.
Right. Yeah.
And I said,
and they're always making them more efficient, so your money well spent to upgrade them at some point if you're going to use them.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a solar array out at the farm, but you have to do it yourself to actually come out, because you end up paying too much. You hire a company. But yeah, I've got a buddy that, matter of fact, where one of my bee yards is, he runs his whole little small house off of solar panels, but he has to like, those inverters where they store the electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Those dang things are expensive, and he has one go out every now and again. So he has to spend a few $1,000s to replace those. Those don't. There might be some kind of power surge, and the whole inside of that thing's fried. He has to go buy a new one.
Yeah.
Solar power is cheap and simple, but storage is the expensive part.
Yeah, because you got to have that bank of batteries to store it.
Yeah, it's the same thing as a Tesla car or any kind of electric car. It's all the money's in the battery, and that thing's got a lifespan.
Yep, you're right.
So, are you doing anything in your bees, Phil?
I went out on Thursday with Keith Barnhill. Yeah, I remember, he's in northeast Arkansas. His daughter lives in a town called Plano that's close to where I live. And he came over and we went out and went through about almost 30 of my colonies at 3 different locations. And I'd pretty much given up on getting much of a honey crop, but I felt better about them after Thursday than I did a week before. Something is coming in. It's not heavy, but there's a little something wet inside the frames and shakes out when you shake the frames. So I'm hoping that's the beginning of something and not just something that just kind of happened.
Right.
It showed me that I had literally on one of the yards, the last yard we went to, I took a whole bunch of sugar syrup and I ended up only using about half of it. So, because I was like, yeah, this one over here, even though they weren't heavy, if I had given them all that sugar syrup, I might have, they were actually backfilling where the queen needed to lay. So, like, I don't want to make them honey bound.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna save my season, but I might get just a small amount of honey. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to get this year. I mean, like Dinah there talks about, she's actually getting the flow in. Which around here, I'm not sure whether I'm getting anything. I did watch the bees here a couple of days ago, and I did see some pollen. Not a lot of pollen coming in, but some pollen coming in. So they're getting a little bit of that from somewheres.
Yeah. As Keith and I drove from his daughter's house to my first yard, I saw a few places where the mesquite trees were blooming again. So it looks like they might have that second bloom, which is critical for us to make honey this time of year.
Yeah, Jeremy was talking about that on his channel.
Yeah.
And all that, but we don't have any mesquite trees or whatever, bushes.
What's kind of weird is the smaller trees, the bush-like ones, are blooming better than the bigger trees. There's a lot of the bigger mesquites on the property where my bees are, but I did see some really tiny little tassels that might, with all this rain, might go ahead and pop out, make something. We'll see.
Well, that would be good for you, though.
Yeah, and down at the farm, it could really be good if the mesquite really blooms, because I can get like middle of June to middle of July, I can get quite a bit of that if those really bloom down there. It's all over the place down there. I'm probably going to go down there next weekend. I should get some idea of what's going on. I have to give up completely before any honey comes in. That's the way it's been the last 3 years. So,
where you got your bees, how often you see them bees, those different areas, a couple weeks?
I see them about every 2 to 3 weeks. They're too far away to go every week because it's like 20-something miles to one of them and 13 miles to another one.
Hey, Keith. Yeah, I was just wondering how, when it comes to management, do you kind of get everything lined up when you're there and then you're confident that everything will be good for the next 2 or 3 weeks?
That's what I try to do. They've got honey supers on them. Just about anything that could possibly make honey has one. I think Keith and I added a honey super to one colony when we were there. We opened it up. and needed it. But thing is, if I really did get a flow and they filled that one super up in a week, yeah, then I could be in a bind. But that's a good problem to have, right? That hadn't happened. Even the little bit we saw coming in, I'd say out of 19 or 20 colonies, I bet I wouldn't have filled up more than maybe 4 super full total with what was there then. So
Brian said you're chasing the tumbleweed flow.
yeah, that's what it feels like.
Well, is tumbleweed mesquite or?
No, I don't know. Tumbleweed is some kind of a plant, I think. I guess that's the way it spreads. But
I mean, the
it's
stuff
wild.
they used to see in the Western movies, which is tumbleweed.
Yeah, we don't have that around Dallas, but I've gone out to Amarillo and you see it all over the place. It's pretty wild when you're driving down the highway and something comes rolling across the road that's like big as a car. It's got,
Really?
and I guess they hit cars from time to time, but I don't think they're that dense. I don't know. Jeremy would have to tell you about that. But, and there's not really any tumbleweed, I don't think, down where he is, but around the Amarillo area, I know it's all over the place. You see it driving down the road all the time.
Yeah, Todd, you made him a West Coast honey daddy.
Hey, Todd, I'm waiting on my certificate.
Eric says tumbleweeds coming from up somewhere is up north. Hey, Joey.
Most of them are probably 2 or 3 feet in diameter, but every once in a while you see a really big one rolling across.
It must be a bush that breaks off at the bottom and just rolls across.
I think so. Once it dries out, it's probably spread seeds or something. I don't know. I'll tell you another thing that's wild when you're up there. When you're driving down the highway, there's nothing to block the wind, and boy, that wind really buffets you. And you'll see, depending on the direction of the wind, you might see the big trucks like leaning as they're driving. Or what's really weird is when they got a sort of a diagonal wind, you'll be behind the truck, and you can see its left front tire or its right front tire out because it's going down the road at an angle because of what the wind's doing to it. That's kind of freaks you out when you see that. They're going straight, but their truck is tilted. They've got to be terrible on the tires too.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Oh, my.
At least once a year out there, they'll have a big windstorm and they'll have trucks just on their sides all the way up and down the road.
Hey, Kathy. How's things up in Connecticut? Yeah, I've been out through the panhandle of Texas. That's about it.
If Mark Miller's driven through that area, he could probably tell you what's going on with all that. Yeah, they probably have to train for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mark lately. What, he's truck driving or what?
I haven't seen it come to there. I haven't seen him in quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit that I hadn't been that active on the YouTube and the chat and the watching videos that much. I watch a few, but anything that says they're harvesting honey, I don't look at it. It makes me too depressed.
Yeah, here lately I've been getting out earlier, like Sunday mornings. In the wintertime, especially, you sit there and you watch all the different videos that I like, that I subscribe to. There's Mark. He just got done pulling 25 supers.
Oh my gosh. I was gonna say, come on here, but I don't want to hear about it. I'm jealous. That's cool. Good for you, Mark.
But what was I going to talk about? Hey, Ann. How's everything down in Richmond? Did I see Ann? Did I see what is it? The Virginia State Beekeepers Association having some kind of a shindig at I don't know, some kind of a meeting hall down there with the Cattlemen's Association no, it's not the soybean board. I think it is. Is that the same Virginia outfit where you're at, Bill, or not?
VSBA?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Something down around Williamsburg, Richmond area there.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. That's where the president's from now. Down that way.
I seen it on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably where you would have seen it, is on Facebook. Yep.
Yeah, I forget what it was. It was down there, some building down there. Hey, Ryan, good to see you too.
Yeah, it's probably a thing for the Beekeepers Association. They're trying to do more outreach now.
Yeah, it
Are you getting any honey, Bill?
Yeah, we got a few supers early, and then it kind of slacked off, and then all of a sudden it hit again. So we've got some more supers to pull. We're going to pull honey the 2nd of July. No, the Friday. That Friday is the 3rd. So we're going to pull honey on the 3rd and extract on the 5th.
Yeah. I've agreed to go to Tennessee with my family to see the father-in-law's place. He lives right there in Sevierville. But if I do have honey, it's going to jam me up because, like I said, that little bit, Keith and I were going to pull honey, but whatever I had, but some of it was capped, some of it was not capped but dry, but then there'd be a little spot about big as your hand that was like super wet. So I said, well, let me just leave it for a couple more weeks. Well, that jams me up because I'm going to Tennessee on the 2nd to the 9th, and my market's on the 11th. So I really need to be getting stuff ready to go before I leave town. When I get back, there's not going to be time to pull honey and extract and bottle. I sure hope I have that option whether I'm doing it or not. I sure hope the honey's there.
Yeah, it's the 2026 Virginia Ag Expo.
Yeah.
July the 30th. Sounded like to me it was more of a farm / like you say, outreach with the bees.
Yep.
And then let's see, October 16th to 17th at Germania Community College, Culpeper, Virginia, which is not too far from my house. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we that's where the conference is in October.
And that the one that was supposed to be close to your place?
Yep.
Yeah, now I tell you, I don't understand this, and nothing to knock these folks, but you got the one in October. You got Jamie Ellis. Okay, that's cool. I don't know who Maggie Coloron is. She's a doctor, and Dr. Holly Freeman. I don't know who that person is.
Holly
either.
Freeman is a medical doctor close to Richmond. She lives
Okay.
in Richmond. She's a
What's
she
she
is
know
a
about bees?
she is a beekeeper.
She's just a beekeeper.
Yeah.
And then you got Fred Dunn. I seen him up here at Chester, and he had, he's a professional photographer, so he had wonderful looking pictures. And he was, as his sort of his dry humor, he knows how to sit there and be sort of a comedian, but there wasn't anything when it came to bees as far as any knowledge base there.
Right.
And which he, new beekeepers, the first year beekeepers love him. I'm not sure why, but of course he knows more than what they do. And then you got Kaylee Richardson, which is right over here around Front Rural, Virginia. And Kaylee's, she keeps bees and sells some nukes, and that's about it.
Yep.
And then she does more of the apothecary type stuff, the home, what do you call it? Home health, more so anything anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what's she going to talk about?
And I have nothing to do with it.
Well, I ain't saying
I'm out of it altogether. And
I'm just looking at the thing where I'm looking at practical. Why would I want to go as far as get the speakers?
Yeah, I think Kaylee was probably the reason they have her there is more on the side of the homesteading kind of, because that's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah,
I'll give you my opinion later.
Okay.
Well, like Brian said, I can learn how to make a tincture. I'm like, yeah, right. It's not my thing.
Thank you.
No, I mean, she's definitely an entertainer.
Who's that?
Kaylee's an entertainer.
Yeah, she's pretty good on the eyes. And I seen her down at Nobby.
But she was probably starstruck with the legend.
Yeah, she probably was. Did she get your autograph, Charlie? She should have.
Now she was autographing her what were the cookbooks or whatever she's selling?
Yeah. Her home remedy apothecary type.
Yeah, that's what it was. Home remedy books.
Yeah. Hey, is Joey still on here?
Ryan got 300 mediums honey frames drawn, and I was happy with that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I need to come and see you to figure out how to do that. Yeah, Joey's still here. Dennis, what was it now? You had a woman on Facebook blow up at you after I asked her if she was selling the bees or her voice.
Not sure what that means.
I ain't quite figured out the context of that part. Yeah. Well, you kind of used the wrong product there. That's all, Ryan. Yeah. Ann says he watched Fred
Shred beeswax.
shave bee pollen.
Beeswax. Because I asked her what he shredded, and she said beeswax.
Yeah, but Ann Philbeck, he says, I watched Frederick shaved bee pollen and the bees loved it. I don't know what.
Is it like shaved ice? They put it in like little cones and give it to them. It's probably working in the middle of the summer. You can do shaved pollen ice for the bees.
So what did he accomplish by shaving beeswax?
Me either. I don't know. I mean, she said about pollen. I said, when it comes to pollen, bees are going to bring in the natural pollen over any other thing.
You get that extractor, Michael?
Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Michael.
Are you saying, Ann, that Fred showed him how to collect bee pollen with a pollen trap?
Yeah. I had some honey on some frames that I gave one of my nukes. And before I gave it to him, I took a fork and just scraped off the capping. And I set the fork on the landing board. And they took every drop of honey and wax off of it. They cleaned it up. I guess they took it in their hive and used it. I don't know.
Okay, wax. He shaved the wax and then they're using it to re-wax the frames or whatever, build wax, I guess.
I'll tell you what, having Keith Barnhill there helping me, man, having two people working bees is just, it's like having help building a house or something. It just goes so much quicker and smoother having two people. I wish I knew somebody that had about the same amount of bees as me locally. You could just like, okay, we're working your bees this day and my bees another day. You just get so much more done if you could do it that way.
Yeah, it is nice. I will have to say that if you got somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, it's as simple, right down to, when you're going to go look into a colony, you're going to pull out one frame to make space for another one, right? So if you got two people there, one of you pulls the frame off the edge, you don't have to put it down. The other one's already got one out the middle, and you kind of know what your hive's doing. And then you never have to drop that frame. Then they pop it back over, and you drop it in and go to the next one. It's just that quick. Rather than having to set it down and work the frames over. And once you work together for a little while, it's like the other person has that second frame out before you even know what's going on.
Yeah, I got a fellow I'm teaching here a little bit, and he's totally green, and I get that. And if like you say, if you got somebody that knows how to work bees and they can jump in there And let me look at this hive or look at that hive, or let me help you get in there and pull, move off the super so we can jump into the brood box or something like that. It, like you say, it really does. For me, it helps me a lot.
Yeah, we were putting on OA extended release pads. So basically, I would pop this honey super off, or if it was a double D, pop the top super off, and I might just like pop one frame out to see what was going on. And by the time I looked at it and put it back, he had the two pads laid on there, and we closed it up, going to the next.
Yeah, you had like a nice little assembly line running there.
Yeah, it didn't have to stop, put the frame back in, go get the pads, pull them out, put them on. And sometimes it's just one person picks up the box, and the other one drops the pads in there. You never have to put the box down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really, it was super nice having a second set of hands there.
Right.
And like I was going to go, I said, yeah, just pop that open and see what's in it. Now let me go over here and do this.
Yeah, it. I will have to say that definitely is a big help. But then, like last weekend, we finished. Let's see, last Saturday, what did we do? Oh, last Saturday I was baling haylage, and so my helper didn't. I told him not to come because I'd be in the hayfield, and so I got out there, I don't know, 3:30 in the afternoon, close to the end of the day. And I got plenty of night. So I went through, I think I filled up some juice jars on my 2-frame mating boxes, made sure they all had food. And then I went through 2, maybe 3 of my hives that I knew that I had older queens in there. I think they were the 2024 queens that I didn't get to last year. So I went, what I'm getting at is I pulled the honey frames off with my hive lifter, sat down and went through those two bottom boxes, frame by frame to find the queen. I got the queen, pulled her out on her frame along with another frame, dropped it in a 2-frame mating box. And then I had the other box with the fresh queen and dropped the 2 frames with her on it back into the hive and put it all back together, but not having to worry about trying to get it all done with somebody standing there watching you type of thing. And it just, you can be a little bit more methodical about it. When it's, trying to find a queen can be pretty difficult sometimes. And then the next day I kind of did the same thing. I had 3 boxes that I knew that were 2025 queens. 2 of them I knew were marked. And I got through the first one that morning, Sunday morning. It took me about, I don't know, it looked like to me when I looked at my time thing, like 50 minutes to find this dumb. I don't know, maybe it was only a half an hour. I don't know. But I pulled the boxes off and got in there, and I finally found her. She was on a drone frame, and she's kind of dark anyway. And she was marked, but she was kind of like down in, drone holes are pretty darn big, so she was kind of hiding on me. And I got her done, got everything put away and fixed up, as far as a new queen in there. And then went to the next one, and I think I pulled the 3rd frame up, and there's the next queen that I needed to find. It took me 5 minutes, boom, you're done. And then the next hive, it was like my notes were not clear of whether we didn't know whether it was a marked queen.
Take the things too. He didn't have any issues with them. Jumped right in there.
What's that?
I said Keith handled himself with those African Texan bees.
Yeah.
He didn't let them bother him at all. Well, except for the one that stung right above his eye. That one got him a little bit.
But
I think I saw Keith in it. How is your eye doing?
So the 3rd one there, I found her, and she was a 25 queen, and she was marked. So Finally got, like I say, I got all my hives. I got all the notes taken down, and all of them are 2026 queens. And I actually went back and checked one hive that had a queen in. I put a dote on her that she was a virgin, and I wasn't quite sure whether she was or not. But I found her, it was about 10 days later. She's walking around, great, big, fat queen. I'm like, okay, that's all I need to see. Everything's fine.
Needless to say, she wasn't a virgin.
No, she was big. She was big. But she was walking around by herself a little bit for some reason. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of happy with this. It's sort of an experiment for me to be able to drop the queen in with her brood and her bees. You're in, get the old queen out, put the new queen in, and you're done,
Is Loma Vista Todd in the chat?
What, Loma Vista? Todd? Yeah,
Todd Trainer?
Yeah, he's probably feeding his face right now.
Because I think I heard where he was converting to being a Muslim. I heard that Eddie sent him 21 virgins.
Yeah, but I think they took, what was it, a scenic route to get there?
Yeah, they did. Maybe he does need to convert so he'll get them next time.
There was a problem. What was that? There was a couple different ones here. The darn shipping companies. I know Joey had a problem.
Took 2 extra days or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know whether they act like, to me, the company didn't even know where they shipped them to.
They went on like a circular route. What I heard.
And then Eddie shipped them out to Todd, and it went set up more of a, it was supposed to be overnight or whatever it was, supposed to be direct. And it wasn't very direct from what I gather.
Well, one thing I figured out was these shipping companies. I went to send something from post office day before yesterday, and I said I need to send it overnight. We don't do overnight anymore.
Wow.
Why not? We just don't do overnight anymore. They said at the best it's 2 days. So they say 2 to 3 days guaranteed. UPS, FedEx, all of them are the same way. There's no overnight, no such thing as overnight anymore.
Really?
I sent just a pair of earrings. It was one of those giveaways we did. A pair of earrings to somebody. They were over close to where you are, Bill, something like West Virginia or somewhere in there. And I sent them pirate ship, but I did send them by the post office in pirate ship. And I went to check in like 4 or 5 days to see if they had arrived. And post office sent those earrings out to California. They sat there for about 2 weeks, and then they shipped them all the way across the country. It took like 3 or 4 weeks for it to get to them.
God.
No idea how that happened. But it happened. And it was a printed out label with a barcode and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe the sorter hiccuped or something.
Mm. Yeah, Odell, no. Joey says he never got his. They were shipped somewhere else.
Wow.
It's just like LTL companies now. If you don't have the means to go drop it at their dock, you can schedule it for a day of pickup, but that doesn't mean they're going to show up that day that they tell you they're going to. It will be when it's convenient for them to pick it up, when they have room on a truck. So if I ship something LTL and I can't take it to their dock, and they tell me, oh, okay, well, I'm going to pick it up Tuesday morning, and they don't show up. They don't call you and tell you when they're coming back. They just show up. And it could be a week later.
I'll tell you what, when you're dealing with queens, whether they're virgins or mated,
Yeah.
I mean, most people to get with their provider, and the provider said, hey, I'm sending them out on this day, and I'm sending them 2-day express or whatever, 1-day express. Now, what you have to do is, however many days you're comfortable setting those mating nukes up, or not, or even your splits up, now they ship them and something happens, you've got to make a decision. Do I go in and knock down those cells and then risk just having a whole bunch of queenless splits or mating nukes, or do I assume that they're lost and let them requeen themselves? It puts you in a real bind trying to decide what the next step is. Because if you wait too long, now you've got a virgin hatched out in there, and you're not there going to put another queen.
Yep. So the issue that I've had to deal with having queens shipped in this year. So the Hawaiian Queen Company will not ship direct to you. They ship to the closest UPS store. So, like, the closest UPS store to me is like 38 miles away, which is not a big deal because the wife works in that town. She picks them up. And the reason they do that, they have played the game long enough. They know that if they ship from their address to a UPS store, it's going to get there when it's supposed to get there.
Right, but everything else,
yeah,
they're not going to sit on. They're not going to sit on a hot UPS van while the driver goes and sees their girlfriend.
Exactly. It's going to go from the terminal because it's an early morning delivery at a UPS store. That's their first stop of the day to empty their truck so they can start doing pickups. So they go there first, empty the truck, and that they're usually there. Every time I've ordered this year, they've been there by 10 a.m. at the UPS store. And I get a phone call, hey, you need to come pick these bees up.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I think that's smart.
I've been watching this one homesteader channel, I guess you'd call it, and they'll get chicks in, and they're kind of, and it reminds me of us and our queens and stuff, is that they are getting their chicks from some brooder house. They were put in the mail like 5 o'clock that evening, and they arrived, it seems like within about less than 24 hours, within a day, 12, let's say 12 hours or something like that. And their what'd you call it? Their survival rate.
Yeah.
When they get their chicks it's like 95% survival rate, because it was like, maybe they put it in the mail that morning, and by that evening, their local post office, or it was around Wilkesboro, North Carolina, or Wilkes, and they said, hey, your chicks are, instead of going out, like you said, they came to the main post office in the main town. Instead of going from the main post office to the local county post office, they said, your chicks here at the main post office. And they went, and they happened to be right there and got them. And they were within, like you say, let's say a 12-hour part. And their survival rate was way higher versus a 2-day type of thing. And they would always have a couple dead ones or whatever, where they would try to raise them, and they fizzled out a few of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there you go. You got live birds and live bees, and, the water, the heat, the air. That's what the modern day postal worker they're not used to livestock in the mail like it used to be, commonplace.
Right.
And
Yeah.
everybody's scared. Well, it was like somebody was telling me they got a phone call from the post office, and he says, "You got some chickens here, and they's alive." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, and all that."
Yeah, I think the chicks have a better job because they're making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and post office doesn't want to deal with them.
Yeah,
Well, they don't know what to do. They have no country background. They're all from the city.
yeah. I had some chickens. I had 3 I ordered, and they literally they get shipped the day they're born. And they're more durable in that first few days because they've got nutrients that they're carrying over from the egg sac. But yeah, when you get them, they still have their little egg tooth. But yeah, they get them to you pretty quick. As soon as they hit the post office is calling you. Like I said, they usually ship out one night, and they're sitting in the post office the next morning usually.
Right.
Well, that's like this last video that he put out. They got the call from the main post office. Hey, your chicks are here. Come and get them. And it was after hours. He says, come to the back door and here's your chick. They want them out of there and all, which is great, that they'll actually do something like that they have some courtesy about them. But that was like I was watching. I think it's the guy that owns Spell Bees down there in Georgia, Claxton, Georgia. The package company down there. And he said that they would ship out bees through UPS. Well, their normal driver, they were going to put him on a different route. Well, the brand new driver came in there, not used to bees whatsoever. And she said, I don't know whether it was a him or her, but it was like, oh, we ain't doing this. And he said, that's when I think the management said, okay, John, get back on your same route. You seem to be fine with these guys picking up bees because he's used to it.
Yeah.
And all, they got experience.
I'll tell you what's going to change a lot of the shipping that's really light, like queens. They're going to have drones that leave from they're going to come pick up the queens and take them right to you wherever you are and drop them off. It's going to take hours instead of days.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's going to be a pretty easy switch happening on light stuff like that.
I don't see where it's practical myself.
Oh, it will be. When they get those drones where they stay charged for long enough, yeah, it's gonna be pretty simple.
Yeah, but are they gonna, I mean, you're gonna have some kind of a packaging.
Yeah.
Because I've seen one, they delivered something, I don't know what it was, food or what, and it's outside, and there was a, what do you call it, a cabled it down and then released it or done something like that. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, now you get hooked, you get a little wind and the hook and that cable gets fried by the damn electric lines or whatever. Of course, you usually have a lot of underground lines anymore.
Yeah, wind and weather is definitely going to affect drones.
Now, Ann here, she was a mail carrier, and they would always call her because she obviously had experience in bees to take care of delivering the bees.
Yeah.
But, it's what you get used to, I guess. Like, well, it's like anything, I guess. It's like, I don't know. It don't matter what it is out there today. You're either used to animals or used to. It's like with me, don't get me around no snake. Like I've seen somebody, well, what kind of snake it is? I just said, I don't care. It'll be a dead snake if I was around.
I think what's going to happen, Charlie, is you're going to have it's like a business has a shipping office, and FedEx provides you with all the boxes you need. the labels and everything like that. You're going to have an outdoor area that's got a chain link fence and maybe razor wire at the top, a little landing thing for where that drone lands. You're just going to go out there and put your package out there the way that they instruct you to, and that drone's going to drop down in there and pick it up, take it. I think that's what's going to happen. And every business size will have a little heliport type thing.
Yeah, I
On
don't
the
know.
roof,
I'd like to see the size of the drone that's got to come pick up my packages when I ship them.
well, that's not going to work for that. You're still going to have freight shipping, Bill. You're not going to be able to get out for that. You're not going to have a Huey helicopter coming in.
Hey, Jeremy.
Last summer I took a small box of Queens to the post office. It was mailing them to Tennessee, overnight. And guy at the post office looks at me and he says, "I can't take those things cross counter." He said, "That's a live animal." He said, I can't accept them. I said, "What am I supposed to do with it?" He said, "You need to take it around to the back door and hand it to one of the guys that's going to process it to send it out." He said, "I can't take it."
Interesting.
I said, "So the shipping's free then, right?" He says, "Oh, no, you got to pay me for it, but I can't take the box." I was like, that's really a screwed up thing.
Well,
What?
if you go back in the history, it was cheaper. Instead of buying a train ticket, you could mail your kids, and the kid would have a tag around his neck.
Yeah. Yep.
They did
That's
that.
true.
They did that.
That's very true.
They wrote the laws that you could mail bees and you could do certain other things, and that was it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. And you see kids flying like that all the time. They always have a flight attendant or somebody who works for the airline with them as an escort. They escort them onto the plane, and the person on the airplane signs a little form, and that they handed them off. They're never on their own, but it gets done. Kids still get shipped.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert, we're talking about queens and sometimes packages too. But the post offices, they don't particularly care for packages in the mail much anymore.
They don't want to deal with them. And of course, now they'll tell you up front when you go to send, a live animal through the mail or UPS, and you have to sign that they are not responsible for feeding or care of those animals for any reason.
Well, what you said, Bill, about that process that they can't take it, that's just because some bureaucrat sat in a room and came up with rules that are supposed to address a problem they think is going to happen. My mother worked for the post office, and it's the reason people go postal is because all that stuff finally drives them crazy. But she literally had to sort the mail in the post office. She had to put it into a side or a bin that the postal service provided them. And then she couldn't just take that, no matter how light it was. She couldn't pick it up and carry it out to the car. She had to put it on a cart and push it to the car, even if it had one letter in it. Didn't matter. Push it out to the car across gravel or whatever. It didn't matter. It's got to be in the cart until it gets to the car, and then you can take it off the cart and put it in your car and push the cart back inside. And if they caught her carrying anything at all out of that post office and putting on a cart, she would lose her job. So yeah, it doesn't have to make sense. It just has to follow the regulations.
Wow.
See there, Jeremy, he had to mail his kids on the airplane. Cost him
Yep.
extra $100 per kid. That's what Ann says. I guess he's agreeing with your Philip with the cart thing.
Oh, she loved her job too, man. She didn't really like the regulators that much. Anytime she got around somebody that delivered mail, that's all they talked about. They're kind of like beekeepers getting together. That was the other thing that was fun about hanging out with Keith is I had somebody to talk about with bees and flowers and all that the whole day. It was like, I mean, we hadn't said more than 10 sentences to each other in person before that, but we were like best friends. Like he understood me and I understood him.
Well,
Yeah, well, maybe that's where you get back to the point where maybe it'll get to the point where that you'll have specialty private shippers that just deal in these types of products. But that's when the prices will get outrageous.
yeah, that's when shipping rates are going to go crazy.
That's where everybody will go back to making them everything their own way, I guess. Mm.
I have a question for you guys. I watched the video and while I was driving, but it was the bug farmer's video. Has anybody seen that? I guess he released it earlier today.
What was it?
He lost 8 out of 20 of his colonies in one bee yard, and 4 or 5 of them were next to each other, lost queens and all of them.
This
Or
is the bug farmer.
Yeah.
Well, he has a terrible time with mite or not mites, but hive beetles and stuff.
But I'm just sitting here, and as I'm thinking about it, the only time I've ever had anything close to that is when I thought I lost a bunch of queens. Was at my farm in August. The dirt can get so bad, it can get so dry that they'll stop laying, and the workers will consume all the brood. If you'll open it up, you won't see any brood at all in there. And then I went through hive after hive after hive, going, what could possibly going wrong? But then a month later, she's laying again. They were just consuming everything she laid. But I don't think he had that situation. And the other thing that crossed my mind was I think he got all of those nukes from one person, and he said they weren't great. But it could be that a queen breeder, all those queens that went out and made it on the same day, which may have been a real bad day for mating, and they just gave out quick. That, to me, that's probably more like what happened.
Yeah.
When you get all your bees, 20 or 30 at one time, the chances are they were all mated on the same day. You just got unlucky the day they got mated. That's what I think happened to them.
So, yeah, I don't know about that. So, Keith, Larimore Farms, if they planted in field peas Is that a nectar source?
Probably. It's probably a little bit similar to soybeans.
You know, everybody talks about soybeans, and I don't know what. I mean, if you got old timey soybeans, which most people don't plant that around here, they're all Roundup Ready soybeans. I don't think they produce any kind of nectar whatsoever. They barely
they
have
produce
flower.
pollen. They produce
Huh?
pollen. They will produce a pollen.
I've never really seen any flowers unless I just missed it because the leaves cover up the flower.
Yeah, they're tiny little flowers. They're either purple or white. One of them produces, and the other one doesn't.
Yeah, the white ones do.
Okay.
The purple ones don't. All they produce is pollen.
And then I know that from Jeremy talking out there in Texas that there's old timey cotton and then there's Roundup Ready cotton. And the old timey cotton is what you get your nectar source off of.
Yeah, but most of the cotton out in West Texas still produces honey, but the cotton where I grew up is really tall. It's some kind of hybrid. I don't think it produces much.
I'm sure it's a GMO cotton. Yeah, of course, we don't have cotton around here at all.
We have cotton down in southeast Virginia, down near the Carolina line.
Yeah, I'm sure that's where the gins are, but ain't no gins around here.
Yeah, the cotton out where Jeremy is ranges from knee high to maybe waist high at the highest. And the cotton where I grew up is waist high to shoulder high. And they literally spray it to make it stop growing, or it'll grow up way taller than your head.
Really? I've never seen cotton that big. I always figured it was about waist high at the most.
No, where I grew up, it grows so tall that you end up losing a bunch of it because the cotton picker heads are not tall enough to catch the top of the plant. But yeah, they spray it to stun it.
Yeah. I was watching Gibbs Farm, I think it's called, out there on west side of Nashville, and he put canola in for the first time. He had no idea about canola. And he said, you have to terminate that crop in order to get it dried up so he can combine it.
Yeah, you have to put a desiccant on it.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it killed everything.
And but then we had some bee clubs around here talking about that everybody does that, and I'm like, no, they don't.
Only certain crops.
That's depends on the crop, I presume, and it also depends what location you're at.
Yeah.
They do that. They do that with cotton because it's called a defoliant, is what they put on it. Makes all the leaves fall off.
Yeah, but like out west out there, their growing season is so short that what's it called, Bill? Desiccant?
Desiccant.
Desiccant?
Yeah.
Desiccant means drying out, but defoliant means to make it drop its leaves.
Well, anyway, they do that to wheat
drops the foliage
out there out west because they don't have like out around here. We have a grain table and we cut the wheat, goes right in the combine and all that. Out west out there, because when you go up into the Dakotas, you kind of have to cut it and put it in a windrow, and then they pick it up with a feeder table, which it has to do with it can't get dry naturally, I guess it is, or age naturally, where it gets hard, I think is the way it works.
But I'll tell you what, if you've got a fall garden and somebody sprays defoliant in the cotton field close to you, you're going to be one bad son of a gun. It's going to make all your
Jeremy said it was 112 degrees out there.
Oh, that had to be heat index, but that's still hot. It was 106 the day me and Keith were out, I think, or that's what they predicted.
How do you stand at 106 degrees? I mean, is it
it was probably 90, 95 at the highest real temperature. It was pretty humid that day.
I thought you guys had that dry heat.
No, that Jeremy probably has it. It's not. It can be, sometimes it's dry, and most times it's pretty humid around. Not as bad as South Louisiana or even where I'm headed now, but can have some pretty high humidity. Right now.
Jeremy said that was the real temperature yesterday.
Really? Wow.
I don't see how anybody could go outside.
I don't either.
Not me.
We went into the restaurant and had lunch, and I had to run back out to my car real quick after I got cooled down. It felt like I was walking past an open oven when I walked outside.
3 months of straight over the 100-degree weather. That's just as bad as living down in Louisiana with the humidity. I'm like, I can't live a place like that.
Yeah.
Not me. It's like here. It could be 80 degrees, but if it's nice 30% humidity or something like that, beautiful. I can handle it. But when
Bill, how close are you to D.C., Washington, D.C.?
hour.
72 miles.
Because I'm telling you, I spent a week there when I was in college, and that was the most miserable place I've ever been. It was in August.
Well, there's a lot
And
of
I grew up in Louisiana, and
That's
they were warning us about.
That's
They were
typical.
warning us.
That they call it
Go
the
ahead.
DMV weather. It's the three H's: hazy, hot, and humid.
I was getting ready to go on that trip, and they were warning us about how bad it was, and I was laughing at them like I live in Louisiana. I'm not worried about a little humidity. Man, I got there and I went, holy smokes, this is the worst thing I've ever been in.
I was what, last year before, something like that. It was really bad for a while there.
Yeah, it's that way every year in August.
We
You got all
literally,
the hot air out of the Capitol building. It comes out and heats up the place.
Yeah, it's all that hot air floating around in DC.
You know, and then you got the streets and it's radiating all that hot, off the blacktop and the marble buildings and everything else.
Yeah.
yeah, I went out and tried to do some mall crawling that first day, and after that, nope, I went out at night. I didn't go out there in the daytime. It was just you couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it anyway.
Yeah, I used to work in DC. I off and on for 30 years. Yeah. It's hot up there.
And I will tell you, the only time I've ever felt like that was when I was like a sophomore in high school. I went to a football camp, and they were one of the first places that had that AstroTurf, what they called it back then.
Yeah.
And we went out and had practice in the afternoon, and it had just rained, and then the sun came out, and they made us lay down on that AstroTurf that the sun had heated up. It was steaming. That was worse. Thought we were going to pass out, and then coaches thought it was funny. But it was like you were in a one of those little things that the little Asian steamer.
Yeah.
It was cooking you.
Yeah, rice steamer.
Because back then, that AstroTurf they just would pour some like blacktop or concrete, stretch some thin carpet across it. That's all it was.
Yep.
But yeah, that time was more miserable than DC. But that's it.
Yeah. Now, I don't know. Something else. Anybody doing anything for Father's Day or going out with family or anything?
No.
When is Father's Day? I don't even know.
Sunday, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
I'm driving back to Dallas is what I'm doing.
I'm putting bees on pallets Sunday.
I'm going over to the Moose Lodge, and they got bluegrass music over there. Friends of mine are playing. It's only 15 minutes or so from the house. That ought to be a good time.
Yeah, it ought to be.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
When I was in college and I flew into D.C., I looked out the window and saw all the swamps and stuff around. And my first thought was, our founding fathers didn't think this thing had a chance because they built this place on the worst land available. They were like,
Yeah.
let's not waste any good cropland for this because this thing ain't going to last.
Well, really, actually, what happened was is George Washington went around and had all this ground, and he knew that they were going to make it the District of Columbia, and then he started buying up all the ground, and the prices started to go up. And then he sent out a straw buyer, buying the ground for him. And then when the federal government said, "Hey, we want to buy all this ground," yeah, I got all this ground, I'll sell you.
I got all this swamp, I'll sell you.
Yeah, and that's a true story too. You know,
I bet it was.
he was going to sell he sold all the ground to the federal government to make the District of Columbia. All that. Kate's going to get a full cooked prime rib for him.
You gonna? Oh yeah.
Going to Satellite Beach, Florida. So, anyway, Sunday you're going to be working bees. Eric's going to work overtime.
What did Brian say here?
You only found 3 of the forefathers.
3 of the 4 fathers. That's pretty good. I like that.
Hey, Mr. John. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. Bees are, if you I hate to say, but the bee season, at least for us around here, is kind of winding down to a certain extent.
Yep.
All that.
Yeah, but, I heard about this guy that was interviewing for a job, and during the interview, the manager said, "There's a 4-year gap in your resume. What's that all about?" He said, "I went to Yale." And the guy goes, "Okay, that's good. When can you start?" He said, "Oh, I can start as soon as possible because I need this job."
He went to jail.
Yeah, he said he went to Yale because he's glad to get this job. Somebody got him out there.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, it flew over my head. That's all I can say.
Kind of like Joey went to Yale.
Oh, okay. Keith says, "I'm starting to store my supers away, and the colonies are dwindling, and the treatments are about to go to start." When you say the colonies are starting to dwindle, does that mean you got poor queens or something, or are they just summer solstice kicking in early? I see where Brian at Castle Hives killed that one hive. Well, actually, he split it 4 ways, and then he killed all the foragers and stuff. Which, I had my cousin down here about 3 or 4 years ago, had a hive, and I went down there to help her, and I didn't have my smoker lit, of course. And she was getting her suit on in the garage, and them bees were starting to attack me. And I was walking past where she was going to come out the door, and I said, "Get back in there." And then I got in my car. They followed me all the way around in my pickup truck to try to get at me.
They didn't want to be messed with.
And then she had chickens there, and they started stinging the chickens. And she got out there and brushed the bees off the chickens to get them inside their chicken coop. I think she lost 2 or 3 chickens over that. So they put Dawn dishwashing, they killed that hive. And I think it was pretty much the end of her and the beekeeping.
Really?
That was probably the worst hive I think I've ever seen. Compared to, like, I might have a hive out here that is up in your face a little bit, but it's usually because there's a queen issue. Either the queen is either gone and they're, all wound up because of that, or I had one out there one year that, I thought they were queenless the way they acted, but actually I did find the queen. I got to the point where I more or less split that hive down to a lot of different other hives and got rid of that hive.
Yeah, I helped a friend euthanize one once because they killed her dog.
Yeah.
But the dog was actually really old, so if they attacked both dogs, she got home from work and the dogs were in the goldfish pond with just their nose stuck out of the water. The bees were trying to. So
that's odd.
It wasn't. They weren't mean when I helped her kill them because she had put a trash bag over them. It had been there for like a day and a half. They'd kind of given up, but we did that. I took a thing and filled it with dishwater, and then I took a spray gun, pump sprayer with dishwater. We just sprayed them and shook them in that until they were gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeremy's got nukes and they're about ready to swarm because of the flow. Is Jeremy west of you, Philip?
Oh yeah, he's a good bit. He's probably
100 miles.
From me. Jeremy, I'm seeing some mesquite blooms over my way. I hope you are too.
So what town are you? You're around Fort Worth, Philip?
Yeah, Dallas.
All right, you're in Dallas. I got the map here is what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And then where does Jeremy live? Do you know?
He's close to Abilene. Just go west, you'll see it. Due west.
Is he at that part where it sticks out?
No, he's almost.
Yeah, there it is. It's Abilene, and you're in Dallas, and then in between that is Fort Worth.
Right.
Okay.
Once you get west of Fort Worth, they call that whole area West Texas. If you go north, you're in the Panhandle.
Yeah, the Panhandle was Lubenbach and Amarillo and
Fort Worth, all the way down to San Antonio and Austin. That area, that huge area is called Central Texas. Once you get a little bit south of Fort Worth, Waco.
I see where Waco is.
Waco is due south.
Now, is Houston your capital? Is it?
No, Austin's the capital.
Okay.
Houston's very coastal. Houston's climate is closer to like South Louisiana.
Hey, Jeremy.
Am I on here now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
It's San Angelo, not Abilene. I'm an hour and a half southwest of that.
Okay. It's the further south. Okay.
Southwest,
Yeah,
yeah. Wait,
I see. I see where San Angelo is.
yeah. So part of it's desert, and then about 15 minutes east of us is farmland. So that's how I get from the mesquite and desert part to all the cotton and corn and all that stuff. About 20 minutes east of us.
Huh. That
We have if you look, you have the Concho River. There's 3 different rivers that meet up, and it's not flowing or anything, but when it rains and stuff, it does contain water, and that's how they irrigate all that farmland. Kind of like how they do with Bracken on his videos. They put those little pipes in there, and then the water goes down every row.
Yeah, yeah, Bracken was explaining that to me.
Come on.
They actually flood the field. They got them little, looks like bowling alley lanes down through the field where the water goes down there, and he has that tripod thing that sets the alarm off where they shut the water off.
Yeah, on ours they don't flood. They just use the flow of that. They have like an actual channel, and then they'll put those pipes in there, and they'll shoot liquid each direction.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's a different ball game from here to, I mean, even to Abilene, an hour and 20 minutes northeast of us, way different. Even my yards now, like I said, 20 minutes north to 20 minutes southwest, totally different as far as. So Dallas, where Phillips at, is, I mean, way different. We don't have a lot of the stuff that he has, and then I have stuff that he don't have out here.
Well, now we were talking about the cotton. Is the cotton fields that you're putting your bees on, are they like old timey cotton? It's
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's irrigated as well. So I was folding clothes while I was watching, but it gets about 4 feet high, about to your armpits. And I mean, granted, there's 3 different places on that cotton plant where it produces nectar. So I mean, even if it's not the flower stage, you still got some under the bulb, and then some other part. I forgot the scientific name of it. But like I said, I'm behind on it now this year because our mesquite's finally flowing really good, or in some places. And with my kids, I'm gonna have them the first week of July. I'm already behind, so I'm not gonna even move bees to cotton fields to the middle of July, which I like to the first week of July. But oh well.
Yeah, because that sounded like to me that I guess the GMO style cotton is a shorter plant, maybe 3 foot tall. And I guess they made it to where it was short and it goes through the machines better, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. And then a lot of places out here have dryland cotton, but I even think this year we'll do good because we've been getting rain like we never had before. I mean, this morning it stormed a little bit, but it's one of the first times that we've had consistent rain, which sucks for me, but it's good. Driving wise or messing with bees, because I only have certain days I could work bees, and sometimes they'll put me in a behind where I can't work them or something.
Yeah, you're still working a computer type work, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a programmer in the oil field.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The place I took my bees to last year was that dry land cotton. There was no irrigation, but there was hardly any fields that got planted. And it was really late.
Yeah, we've got so much corn moving in though, because cotton isn't. I guess it's not selling. It's not as.
Right. There's a lot of cotton where I grew up. There's everything. There's hardly any cotton there, and it's mostly corn.
But now that now they're growing corn or milo or whatever else, and I do get some sorghum honey, but I think it's nasty. But some people like it. But
Boy, that cotton honey that I got, the little bit that I got like 80 pounds, maybe. Maybe it was less than that. I think like 40 pounds. It was hardly any. But because there wasn't much cotton around, and anyway, but I kept waiting for it to crystallize because they said it would, and it went about 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden it's like overnight crystallized. It's
that's
like
crazy.
Somebody flipped the switch. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's usually 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. It'll be crystallized, rock hard.
Yeah, maybe there's a little something else going on with it, but yeah.
And that's cotton honey?
Yes, sir.
Really? Okay.
But man, it tastes amazing, and it's almost clear. depending on how pure it is. I mean, the first year I did it, it was almost
Yeah.
it was like sugar syrup. You would think, but it's not. The smell alone, the taste. I mean, it is something very different, and it's very good.
Then mine wasn't pure because mine was more of a light amber color.
Yeah.
It wasn't much very that light.
But yeah, I had to jump on real quick and say, hey, I'm in San Angelo. I'm taking my other. I'm making my 15th bee yard tonight, and it's a lot of driving, but it's worth it because we got to charge people to put bees on the property. So I'm spread out thick and thin in certain areas and ready to harvest honey and then start getting ready for cotton. I'm going to move all my colonies to cotton fields and
Hey Jeremy, how do you get the word out that you're available to do leases for
Facebook for everything.
Facebook? Okay, man, give that a shot.
The swap and sell groups. I mean, everybody, especially here, everybody has 5 to 20 acres for ag exemptions and
Right. Yeah, I need to. I want to get about 10 places instead of I got 3.
yeah. See, and I don't know what you require in your county. Ours is only 1 colony per 5 acres, so the max is 4 colonies. Granted, I'll put like 8 of them out there, but some places only have 7 acres. What's that?
Ours is 5 or 6 for the first 5 acres, and then there's 1 for every 2.5 after that. A lot.
Yeah. Every county is different, and that's why I get so many yards. Is I only have to put 4 or 2 or whatever in each individual yard.
But to be honest with you, I would, even if I was charging them for 2, I'd probably put a few more there just because it's not worth the drive.
I'm trying to put 6 to 8 in each one, unless it's like a 5 acres in a neighborhood or something.
So that's
exactly.
where you're putting bees on there. They're getting a tax write-off. And is there any forage there for these bees for them to survive?
The mesquite is everywhere. I mean, it's an invasive plant. And then the wildflowers, we actually had a lot of wildflowers this year, but yeah, I mean, out here everything's everybody has property pretty much, unless you're in a residential area like where I'm at. I mean, everything's residential. I'm sorry, everything has some acreage. It's West Texas. You're gonna have a 1 acre tract, 3 acre tract, 7 acre tract. I mean, the usual. But
yeah.
I just want to jump on.
You say mesquite is invasive, but who planted it to begin with? Wasn't it there always there?
I'm not sure. So apparently, I think it came from like Arizona, New Mexico, moved this way. But it's a drought, and that's why it's good. When we're having a drought year, it blooms over and over to survive. And mesquite wood is hard to begin with, and then the roots and everything it is. I mean, it's hard to kill it. I mean, they have airplanes. The crop dusters will try to spray them and all kinds of stuff where they're real thick, but even at that, I mean,
isn't mesquite what they use for barbecues and stuff like that?
Yes, sir. The big mesquite tree. So, like I said, I think there's a difference. You got mesquite trees that'll be 40 foot tall. The trunk could be 2 feet wide. But
it's like a full size tree, like around here, like an oak tree or something like that. Then
yes, sir. But it's not we you're gonna have turns and knots everywhere and everything like that, which is great for if you're a woodworker. We have a lot of mesquite brush. You're gonna have thorns in your tires. You need 10-ply tires on everything you drive out here if you're off roading any. And I mean, those thorns on everything.
Jeremy, I think the mesquite brush blooms a lot better than the trees does.
Yes, I agree with that. The brush is a lot better than the trees.
I have a lot of the trees, and I quit buying charcoal after I got the farm because I just take the mesquite and split it down and use it just like charcoal.
Right. Well, all righty. Well, I was just going to jump on real quick. I'm trying to attend to these boys.
Yeah, good to see you, Jeremy.
I'll be listening. I'm trying to listen in the background while I try to be on daddy duty. So.
Yeah.
I'm glad I mislabeled you, so you came on.
Yes, sir.
Glad you came on. All right. Thank you now. That was good. I enjoyed him. Does a fine job out there. Sound like to me he does like deep supers of hunting out that way on that, especially on that cotton and everything. So, well, everyone, it's about 10 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and shut the chat down and close it up for a week. And we'll see everybody on Joey's channel tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Central Time. And Phil, are you about?
No, I got started way late. I didn't get out till 4 o'clock. So I'm gonna be another 2 hours.
Okay.
Well, you have a safe trip.
I will.
All right. Well, we'll catch y'all later. We'll see you on Joey's chat tomorrow night. And we'll be back on Bill's on Monday. So,
Good night. Good night, everybody.
everybody.
Night.